Was poppin', was poppin', was poppin'. Welcome, Nikki and Moose. I'm Nikki. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And we are on episode 58. Yes, sir and ma'am. Sir and ma'am. Yes, sir and ma'am. I realize I have to
be
say
inclusive.
Both. Yeah.
You gotta be
It's
inclusive.
for everybody. It's for everybody.
Yeah.
But on this episode, we're going to, of course, talk about Jay-Z, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, talk about some of Rihanna's moves, and entrepreneur living legend. I'm gonna say entrepreneur living legend.
Queen's kid. I'm with it. Yeah.
Damon John, Fubu himself, and much more. How do we feel about this episode?
Honestly, I'm excited to get back to the breakdown. We kind of got a little, you know what I'm saying? It's been a couple episodes since we got a breakdown. So this is gonna be fun. We get back to the breakdown.
Yep. So let's get into his intro.
Two kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nikki and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
And you already know what time it is. It is the review of the week. And we're keeping this very simple because they did. If you don't listen to this podcast, you're losing.
Don't be
very
a loser,
simple.
y'all. Yeah,
Nothing
I love
more.
it. Don't be a loser. Come on,
Yeah,
listen to the
get straight to the
podcast. Share it
point.
with a friend.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody who leaves us a review on Apple Podcasts and Podcast Chasers. Podcast Chasers. Thank you. We appreciate it. We read them all. We love you guys. And shout out to all our new audio and video people and all our vets. You know what I mean? We appreciate you. We absolutely appreciate you. Moose, how are we feeling?
Man, pretty good. Spoke about coming back from Florida on the live show.
Yeah.
Nothing eventful has happened since then, but things are good. I mean, doing well overall. Can't complain. Short to the point today.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at that. All right. He's like, yep, great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Very good. Thank you for coming. See you next week.
From the people who are like, yes, Moose is getting transparent. We're back on, yep, I'm good.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Things are great. Oh, man. I love it.
Well, I'm great.
Gotta love it.
Hello. I'm going to the Canelo fight. This is being recorded before the Canelo fight, which is Saturday, November 6th. All right. So I will be live and direct. Shout out to CJ and E and Josh and Maul who made all that happen. They all had a role in that. So
That's what's up.
super excited. I haven't been to Vegas since my mom said 15. I say 17, but my mom says 15.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah, she took me like 3 times before I was legal. I don't know how this works. So I was all into the arcades.
Okay.
Yeah, I was all into it. So I had
know about that life.
several suitcases of just stuffed animals. Like I was winning. I was like, my mom could do slots. I'm out here with stuffed animals and what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think definitely. If you had parents that were into the gambling life, you definitely are a kid of the casinos because you couldn't go in the casino even if you were just going to watch. So your butt was going to the arcade while they was in there. Absolutely. Yep.
And I hope you had a good arcade. If not, you had that room that had like a racing car, a pinball, and like a fighting game and maybe basketball. That's it. It. I lived all the life. I lived all the life.
Man.
But let's get into this episode. And on this What's Popping section, look at me sounding all proper. You know what I mean?
Come with it.
We
tell 'em.
are going to be talking about, yes, Jay-Z. Jay-Z is now inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wow.
He was qualified off of his first year. first year. But
25 years since.
I'm not sure when it's supposed to air, but of course, people pulled out their phones and got some of this acceptance speech. And he shouted out somebody that I want to talk a little bit about, but I also want to talk a little bit about the acceptance speech. Yeah. So let's just get right into it.
Go to Tata and be like, yo, I'm the best. I'm telling you, I'm the greatest. Well, one of the greatest. I don't want no problems, LL, right? One of the greatest. And I'll go to Tata, yo, I'm the greatest. And Tata will be like, yeah, young, you are the greatest. And then, I look back at some of those raps and it was like, stop thinking you're making it, son. I'm breaking the break. It was trash. But somehow we knew. And I recorded a demo and I went to every single record company and you know what they said, right? That's trash. But the audacity of hip hop, we didn't believe them. I, for not 1 second, got depressed. For 1 second, I didn't change my course. It was like, we're gonna create our own company, That's hip hop. And we created this company called Rockefeller Records. Shout out to Dame. I know we don't see eye to eye, but I can never erase your accomplishments. And I appreciate you and I thank you for that.
It's major. That's major. So there's like two parts of this for me, right? The confidence of this is trash. I believe it's amazing. And I believe that we really have something, but it's trash. And then when you hear it from other people that it's trash, and yet you still have the confidence enough to make your own, like that has to be talked out, because to get denied several times, I think he even said like by all the record labels, just trash, and to clearly be one of the most known record labels in the of our time. Rockefeller, everybody knows what that is. For sure. Right?
Yeah.
I would ask you, because you can come up with so many different ideas, not you per se, but just people, right?
Sure, yeah.
It's like, what do you know to put confidence in? Like, how did he know that was it when he listened back? He's like, damn, that was trash. That was so bad. But we probably feel that way about all our early stuff.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, last week. I'm looking at last week. Damn, last week was could be better this week.
But it's you look at that and I'm like, some people are like, how do I get that confidence? How do I know this one is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I can't think of anything else other than have a dream and be passionate about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're hearing one of the best artists of our era, of our generation, of an entire probably hip hop era. I mean, 25 years since that first album. And he's telling you that they weren't good when they started. So clearly you don't have to be good to start. But do you have a dream? Do you have a vision? Are you passionate about what you're doing? Right? Like I was reading the article that you sent with the full words or the thoughts that he shared during his speech.
Yeah.
And he's just talking about the KRS-Ones, the Big Daddy Kane, and those people that came before him that inspired his kind of, vision and saying, man, I want to be like those guys. And started doing whatever he can do to put himself in that position. Now, when it didn't work out, he just became resourceful to finally start getting it to click. So I think of, when I listen to that and to answer your question, I think of, man, is your dream like bright enough? Like, do you have a dream that's like ignited enough, that's deep enough, that can get you beyond those early stages of straight up when you suck, like when you trash, which is normal, which is like the natural progression of anything when it first starts. But are you passionate enough? Do you have a dream that's big enough that can carry you through those early stages where you can get innovative and say, you know what, that's not going to work. Okay, let me try this and let me try that and let me go to this person and go to that person and not lose, any steam. So yeah, Nix, I think the dream and the passion is all that I can think of that almost blindsided them to the fact that they weren't that good when he first started.
Yeah. I would have to agree, but I love it. And for those people, like, look up the full acceptance speech. It's going to be ghetto, and like you heard, the audio isn't the greatest, but right. The journey is what got me to understand where the confidence came from. Because, I mean, of course, he mentioned, Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, LL Cool J, and always listening to it. And then he mentioned his mom giving him that green notebook. So you not only are seeing it, but then now the person you love the most is now encouraging it, right? To then your best friend, Tata, was like, yeah, you are the greatest, right?
Right.
Let's do this. And it seems like environment, we've spoken about this, but environment is so valuable when it comes to from just an idea to then that pure confidence of I can do this. And though you may not think it, I'm seeing it around. I'm seeing it happen. My mother believes in me. My best friend believes in me. I have a circle that believes in me. We're going to do this regardless. And maybe one of the goals is not truly to reach the masses, but to maybe be a local success, maybe to be within the circle success. Like, yo, we created this, we're putting it out in the world. And it just happens when you make movement like that, then it impacts more than maybe than you really imagine. Because of course, if you think about Dame Dash thinks it was going to take over the world all day, every day, right?
Right.
But who is to say did they really know the true impact that Rockefeller was going to have? Rockefeller was one of the reasons why everybody wanted a chain. You know what I mean? Like, everybody wanted the rock chain. If you part of New York, somehow, some way, you low key wish you were part of Rockefeller, just a little bit, right? So it's pretty cool to see that the journey is one of those things where it can help build confidence. Do you have the right environment? Do you have the support at home? Do you have support in your circle? And if not, how do you recreate it somehow, some way to allow it to have the success it's supposed to have, right?
Yeah,
So
I love that you said that on the back end too. Yep.
Yeah, me?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good.
Fine over here. But the second part I want to bring up is, of course, the shout out to Dame Dash. Now, it has been documented of their not seeing eye to eye, as he would like to say. There's even some legal situations. I think Jay is suing Dame Dash at this moment, right? But what I loved is what he said was, I can't take away the accomplishments. We may not see eye to eye, but I can't take away what was created. Because of what was created, this is all possible. This is what's happening, right? And it makes me think, like, we sometimes can, go separate ways. I may go this way, and I'm not saying me and Moose go through this. I'm just giving an example, right? I don't want people like, they don't like each other. No, love Moose. Stop that. But Moose may be over here with the vision, right? But what I can never knock is that, we created this podcast and we've impacted multiple countries, right? Shout out to the countries that listen to us. And there, and you have to look at it like even some of people's old partners or friends, like they may be foul afterwards, but what this is teaching me, at least, is don't erase the past.
Yeah.
Like, I know for me, I have a big tendency when somebody messes up to the point of no return. Oh, you're getting blacked out. Like, I don't care what we accomplished. Like, it's done. Like, we will never see eye to eye. What are we talking about? But there was a lot of moments in my life that because of this thing happened, I am who I am.
Right.
And if somebody of the likes of Jay-Z with the accomplishments and trials and tribulations can say, hey, I'm literally suing my man right now. This is not what he said, but this is how I translated. I'm suing my man right now, but Rockefeller is what it is because of the three of us. Because of Dame Dash, Jay-Z, and Biggs. And so I can never take that away from him. I just may not be able to work with him ever again, but I can't take those accomplishments away from him. And that's just big, especially utilizing the platform that he was on at that moment to acknowledge that, which then later on, of course, Dame Dash was like, I would love to sit down with my man and squash the 20-year beef. Sir, we know that's never happening. That's never.
Right.
Never.
Right.
But I mean, we never know. I mean, I don't think, of course, because I was going to say Jay-Z and Kanye, but I don't think that was such a bad situation. I feel like that was a more miscommunication. That, of course, that based off a song. Clearly, we've not seen true friendship or whatever, but based on a song, they're okay, right?
Right.
They're back to making money together. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's definitely a great deal of maturity, man, to like, yo, we can't eliminate the history that comes a part of it. Now, as it relates to the Dame situation and them possibly, you know, almost coming back together, I just think there are two different levels. Like it might, I don't know, I think the way Jay has kind of continued to build his brand and his moves, him going back to fix it, I don't know that they're at the same, like Jay and Kanye almost in the same class, right? Same status in terms of like both billionaires, worldwide brands, the whole nine. For some people that might be like, wow, that's foul. That's what you're basing it off of.
Yep.
But in the history of Jay-Z's moves, I think that's part of the thing that he's considering. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, yeah, I ain't gonna go back and stitch that up because that almost is like a hit to my brain. You're not at my level kind of thing. That's how I see it. But to your point, you gotta acknowledge the maturity of like, okay, I can't forget what he's done or his contributions to my journey because it is helping me get to where I am today. So that is pretty dope.
Yeah. So shout out to Jay-Z. And you know what? For the culture, I do hope they reconcile of some way, shape, or form. Not back to the dances and working together, but just like, yo, let's just hash it out.
I think at some point they will.
I think that will work.
Yeah, I see. I could see it. Like, you know, the Magic Isaiah Thomas sit down that they had. You remember that? You see that on ESPN when like they kind of came down and was like a little emotional, started crying and apologizing. Yeah, Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas, they had like a little sit down like that to squash their beef. Yeah.
Oh,
but I'm saying it was like, yeah. So
emotional?
Sometime. Yeah, there was a little, like, man, you hurt me, bro. Like, loved you. And boom. But I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying, like, you know, it happened later in their career. So maybe that'll
I hope so. Yeah. I think it's needed. But then again, we are just people and they're like we don't care about y'all. We're not doing this for y'all. This is actually hurts us internally. Like this is a us problem. Like
real.
Why do we care about your feelings? Like I have to remember that. Like we're just like, come on, do it for the culture. It's for us. They're done with us. Right. We created Rockefeller. Jay now has Rock Nation and all these different things. Like, what more do you want? So
yeah. Hey, let me ask you this real quick. What are your thoughts on Jay-Z creating an Instagram for 48 hours, getting a couple million followers, and then deleting it? It's like, what? That's hilarious.
So I saw on Instagram that he did this once before. Like he got on Instagram, I think on Michael Jackson's birthday, posted and then deleted. Like he's out. But in what, less than 24 hours, he got like 2 million followers. I followed. I was like, oh snap, this is a new.
Me too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't think that was gonna last. I didn't. But because of his movie,
I got a little excited. Yeah,
because of his movie, I thought it was going to be a good idea. I mean, he's that whole Tiffany campaign. I saw it in Mexico. I was showing E. I was like, E, look, it's Beyonce and Jay-Z for the Tiffany thing. He's like, nah, I never seen it. Right? I was like, what do you mean never seen?
I got a little excited. I'm not gonna lie, because I saw him talking to what is it, LaMelo Ball, I think it is.
Yeah.
At like one of his games. So they posted like some clips of them talking. I'm like, yo, maybe this is Jay-Z's way of like connecting with the youth a little bit more. And it only lasted but 24 hours. So I guess no, that's not. Fair enough.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, I mean, it'd be nice for you to be on Instagram, but I don't know what you would post. Like, what rich stuff would you post?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It is what it is.
It's like, what kind of rich stuff would you post?
Like, what?
Yeah.
It would be dope. Don't get it twisted.
What's a Jay-Z breakfast like?
He probably has amazing art, right?
Yeah.
We're clearly never going to really see the twins. We see Blue here and there, but I don't really remember seeing twins too much. I don't know. I don't know what he would post, but it would be appreciated. It would. That's just me. But in other news, Rihanna. So let me set this up real quick, right? Riri, we've been dying for new music. We have, right? We've talked about you several times on this podcast and questioned, is there going to be new music, right? And it's not. Okay. What you did was clearly, let's reissue, no pun intended, literally RIHISSUE, all 8 albums that I already have with exclusive merch. First off, I feel like I got okie doked, but I felt like this was genius at the same time. Okay. And it's a lesson as well, because as maybe we're possibly waiting for new music, possibly, she literally repurposed all her albums. She said, you know what? Let's put this back into a physical form and a more of a collectible kind of vibe. So for my audio listeners, on the screen that we have, it has like 4 of them out of the 8, and it comes with a vinyl, a really dope box that says reissue, and like a shirt that is based off the actual album, right? And I think they go for like $110 retail price. Now, of course, with streaming, you just have to pay a membership fee of that particular platform to listen to Rihanna's music. So I think this was really dope, and also maybe something to calm down the people. Like they actually have something of Rihanna that they could hold on to and say, nah, boo boo, no one else has this, or it's a limited amount, So I thought that was kind of genius. at that point. And then it also makes me think for like, you know, entrepreneurs or people with businesses of some sort, if you're in that transition phase of, I don't know when this is going to come out. I'm not sure if it's going to be ready for when everybody is expecting it. What can you repurpose that you already put out? Can you put a new cover to that book that you made? Can you add a special packaging to something? Can you act as if it's a new relaunch and, you know, just add one or two new things to make everybody want it all over again, and not necessarily having to recreate something or put people on hold so they could pay attention to other people. So that like, I looked at this, I was like, you're slick, but you're not slick. Like I see what you did there.
Right.
I hope it works. And it shows people the blueprint of, yo, all the stuff that you did in the past, bring it back to life. Make more money from it. Milk that particular product. It shouldn't just live for that particular season. So that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, no, and I know you've been big on repurposing, even just people like really encouraging people and pushing people to repurpose their own content. Like, yo, if it worked in the past, bring it back with some adjustments to fit today's marketplace. I don't have much to add to that, but I am curious, does that mean you delete? Like, would you tell someone from a content standpoint, do you delete what you posted or maybe shared before because you're repurposing it again today?
Mm-mm.
And
nope. Nope, I did. I literally did it today. I took an old reel, take the same caption, just put it as a reminder, like reminder, boom, right? And kept it moving, right? Sometimes majority of the times I put like a different caption, right? But I leave the old one there. I'll change maybe the cover of it. Like, so that first impression that you have, you may not have seen that particular angle, face, things like that. But it's the same content, same words. We just bringing it back to life. That's and good. It works because I already have numbers that it worked before. So we're going to see if it works again.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. No, that's solid.
But let's talk about, actually, let's do this real quick. Shout out to Spurgo, as you can see. Shout out to Spurgo. First off, they opened, and for those who are like, who's Spurgo? Go back and look up our interview with Trey Brown. When I say, I think he's 16 now, 16-year-old entrepreneur that has an amazing clothing brand called Spurgo, is now going to be on Shark Tank. Yes, it's supposed to air November 5th. So by the time you hear this, it's already have played. But he is going to be on Shark Tank with Damon John and Mark and all of them great people. I'm excited to see that because
that's what's up.
He opened up 2 new stores. One in I think, what is it called? I think it's somewhere in Philly or Pennsylvania. And then he opened one in the top of Virginia that I went to over 4 hours because there was traffic. Wow. Right? He's like, oh my God, Nikki, you came. Yes, I did. To support my guy. He came to support. And the funny thing, in the store back at his crib, he had the Nikki and Moose interview up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
He had it on the TV. So somebody had tagged us like, look, Nikki and Moose. I said, oh, that's so dope. Thank you, Trey.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's cool. I didn't even know that. That's really dope.
Yeah, it was part of his grand opening. But I say that because he's going on Shark Tank and talking to Damon John. Now, Damon John has just been like the go-to of entrepreneurs. Go-to, right? And I find it funny we never really went over any of his stuff.
Yeah, that's real.
The weirdest thing. And he has lessons for days. So one of the first lessons is don't quit your day job. All right, don't quit your day job. And let's go into it.
May say, I want to start a business. Don't quit your day job. That's so stupid. I don't know why people ever do that. You put in 2 hours a day because you just got 4 hours back round trip a day. You put 4 hours a day educating yourself, whatever the case is. You start calling up those people that you could have been in the service with, you could have worked with. And guess what? Now they're in California, you're in New York, but they got this thing called Zoom. And they want to be part of somebody's dream too. And you start slowly building that thing. So what is your inventory? It's your Rolodex. It's your time on hand. It's your passion that you have. And you look at it after 3 months, 6 months, or a year and say, what do I have? But don't quit that damn day job.
What do you think about this, Moose?
Yeah, no, I mean, what sticks out is definitely the passion piece. It's like, yo, what do you have is passion. And I think that kind of is a good reminder because we just spoke about it when we talked about Jay-Z getting inducted and kind of, what made him so confident. But it's true, man. I think that, and I love some of the other clips that we have coming up after this as well about what he mentions. But entrepreneurship is one of those journeys that you cannot embark on because you want the title. Like you shouldn't embark on this journey because you want the title to say to your friends or to people or to on social media, I'm an entrepreneur now, or I'm full time. Like that's not what should be the measure of success or a feel good metric. Your measure should be, man, am I in position? Do I have my affairs in order? Will my family suffer? There's a difference between sacrificing and suffer. Sacrifice, right? It's like, okay, instead of eating steak, I'm maybe gonna eat, I don't know, meatloaf or
right.
a piece of toast. Okay, but to make your people suffer because of something, because you didn't prepare, I think that's selfish and unfair. So I like that he's encouraging people like, yo, make use of your time. If you're commuting and you have 4 hours, can you turn those 2 hours or 2 of the 4 hours into something where you're preparing yourself for that full-time gig as opposed to jumping off too early? And then there's that part that you almost don't know what to do, because I think everyone faces it, like there's a part of it where like it does take a couple of years or some time to get going. So, and usually I think for the most part, and I don't know if you agree with this, but I want to say almost 80 to 90% of people miscalculate their time. Like they might say, oh, it's going to take me 2 years and it takes them 5. Or,
yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like everyone miscalculates. So you jump too early. And of course, we're not telling you don't be optimistic, but don't make that jump and let your people suffer because of it or because selfishly you wanted that title. So I do appreciate that advice.
Yeah, I'm fully agreeing with don't quit your day job. I liked how he was like, yo, get these particular things, like get the relationships right, make sure the passion's dope. Like I like how that was his way of like checking your inventory, right?
Yeah.
That was really cool. But I'm more of course, the strategic type of not really jumping until you were sure, right? Because I stayed with my 9 to 5 for a bit before I jumped with like E, right? And I didn't even jump.
Yeah.
It was a nice transition. It was
right.
nice transition.
There wasn't no layover period.
Yeah, no, because especially when you have bills, like the mortgage and car and all that great stuff, like you gotta. I'm cool with, and this is only me. I can only speak for me. I'm cool with the crazy faith. Shout out to Maul. I'm cool with the crazy faith. But I am also not about struggle. If it is meant to be, it is going to be. And if it may take a little bit longer because I'm going this route, I'm okay with that. I cannot put myself under stress to try to speed things up. This is going to happen. This is going to work regardless. I mean, like, this is not a feeling. I've done it. And especially if you could do two things with a 9-to-5 and then your passion or your entrepreneurship ways and things like that, that shows dedication.
Right.
You know, because you're now valuing time a little bit more. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're understanding how to work these particular hours with full focus, because that's what you only have to work with. Where there's people who have all day and don't even do anything close to the amount for those people who may only have 2-3 hours to work on their business. So with a somewhat of a cushion of, I still have a salary, right? Now, this is, like I said, this is me speaking. I'm not totally suggesting don't jump. For me, I was literally sick. Like, I knew in my 9-to-5, when I was like, I couldn't even go. I was in the hospital, woo. The second I quit, I did my 2 weeks. I did it right. The next day I was fine. Weird.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Next day I was perfect. Went back to the hospital. Blood levels were great. Everything was fine. I was like, what? It's weird. Okay, I see what you did, God. I see what you did. Okay.
That's good. No, that's crazy. Yeah, no, that's crazy.
But, and I think for me, that was a sign of, you've been doing this a little bit too long. You've been doing both of them a little bit too long. So let me force you, because I'm the type, something dramatic has to happen for me to understand what to do.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I was that. You tell me and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to avoid it because you went through it, or you told me about it, and I trust you. I'm not that type. I'm not.
I think we might have just hit one today, though. Yeah, I think we might. I think we might have just kind of unlocked a piece for people who are in transition, thinking about making a transition. It's like, well, what's my sign? Sacrifice, don't struggle. Like that might just be one of the easy ways to help people understand of when's the right time or not the right time. Can I do it without struggling? Can I do it while do I have to sacrifice? Yeah, sacrifice by all means. But struggle, that might fall more as a choice, right? Like, yeah, no, I like that. That's good.
And it wasn't even like equal pay, because some people will like, okay, I can make the same amount or more in my transition. That's when I'm ready to go. I took a $30K cut.
Oh, sacrifice.
Yeah, I took a
sacrifice.
30K cut.
Yep.
I sure did.
Man. Wow.
Got a lot of crap for it. I remember.
Yeah.
I had my mom like, do they have like, what's going to happen to medical? What about vacations? Like, what do you mean you're just leaving your bank job? Like, what are you talking about? What?
Yeah.
Doesn't understand it and now loves me, right? Like, I'm not saying my mom never loved me, but like, right. She gets it a little bit more, even though she still doesn't know what I do, right? But I say that to say there's two ways of starting out your business, starting out that entrepreneurship lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with doing the 9-to-5 and making sure this is it. There's nothing wrong with staying at a 9-to-5 until you have certain ducks in a row. That doesn't make you more or less of an entrepreneur. It doesn't. There's some people that will say something different based off their journey. And I'm not saying they're wrong. They did it their way, right?
Yeah.
But I don't like how society has, well, if you're not an entrepreneur, you're not anything. Like,
no, that's nonsense. Yeah.
No, what are you talking about? You're the entrepreneur that hires people to have a 9-to-5. How are you literally going to tell your team, the people you employ, that they're nothing because you made a certain kind of route? Then they're going to leave you.
No, that's real. That's real. That's real. And I think also another thing that people overlook is like, yo, if your job is fulfilling you, if you're finding fulfillment, doing the work, it doesn't mean that you should leave and go do it on your own. Like, I don't know that necessarily makes a difference. So,
and the crazy thing is
a big part of it.
Yeah, the crazy thing is some entrepreneurs are not making more than 9 to 5 people.
Right.
Who is
having
making
to carry
more
way
than
more responsibility?
Who's making more than the number 2 of Facebook? Who's making more than the number
CEOs,
than the number 8 of Microsoft?
Right. I might just need to look that up. Hold up. Who's the number 2 of Facebook in this?
No, for real.
I just want to serve that as an example. No, but it's true though, because I didn't. And again, that's why I say, yo, be mindful of making certain moves just off of titles and labels, because you could get the title, you could get the label, but what if you're miserable as a result of it? Yeah. Then you've done something strictly for somebody else's happiness, not yours. But you're right. Like, I can only imagine a CEO that you're talking about, a C-suite executive at one of the top companies in the world. Let's just say safely you're bringing in at least $1 million a year, safely, all right, if not more. But no, I'm with you.
Listen, I've always said I'm cool if I be an exec. You know what I mean? I always said that I'm cool if I had an exec position. What? Let
me tell you this. So it said executive compensation. COO at Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg, made $27,144,147 in total compensation.
All right, Keep rushing to entrepreneurship. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Man. Not for real. If you're finding fulfillment in your company, organization, or job, stay there. Like again, if that fulfillment is there and you see the mission, go for it.
Yeah, because entrepreneurship is very lonely. You may feel family in where you are. You may be fulfilled money-wise where you are. Don't get caught up unless it's really your passion, unless it's really your thing. Like, for me, I knew, no, don't tell me what to do. Don't do that. Right. I can't do that, right? There was a struggle with me that literally I got sick. Like, I see certain things a certain kind of way. And it needs to happen in that certain kind of way. Whether it's right or wrong, let me deal with it. Like, let me take the consequences. Don't police me in doing this, that, and the third, right? So straight up, I knew 9 to 5, which is crazy because my mom was like, I didn't even know you can do the Navy for that same reason. You don't like listening to anybody, right? So how did you do that? But I think that part helped me figure out the politics of of the game.
Organization. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, I think, and for me, it was slightly different. It wasn't, I actually loved the corporate world. Like, that time I spent on Wall Street, I was geeked up. I loved it. Like, I really had a great time. But over time, I noticed that the culture didn't really fit with some of the things I believed in. Right? Like, and again, every culture motivates their people slightly different. They motivate you with happy hour. They motivate you with exotic trips and some of the stuff that happens on the exotic trips. And I was like, dang, y'all really want me to sin? No, I don't.
I never had the exotic trips. What kind of exotic trips did y'all have? Never mind. He's doing okay today. This week was great.
Yeah. I was doing this a great week. It was a great week. So so I'm saying, like, for some people, like, your reason might be like, damn, culturally it's not the right place for me, or like I can't find I can't get hired by an organization that believes what I believe. Then I think that's a fair reason to speak to too, or at least to make the transition over to as well. So just to kind of give a balanced perspective, because I don't want people to be like, damn, y'all always on ownership and like, standing up and creating your platform or your personal brand so that you can voice your opinion. And now you're talking about staying at your 9 to 5. But again, just to give a balanced perspective, here's why we're for it and here's why we're against it, just so that because it would suck for somebody to make the jump and be like, okay, now no one promoted this part about it. How come nobody spoke about this part here?
Right. Yeah, no. We love both. We love both.
We for it.
We love both. But for this last scene, at least for me, proof is very important. Proof is very
huge.
important. Okay?
Huge. Yeah.
We just went in on like, you have an idea, right? How do we know that this is it? Like, how do we know? Well, sales does that. People actually purchasing it. You know what I mean? So let's see what he says, Daymond John says about sales.
The mistakes I see entrepreneurs make is when they think they have something. They don't have their numbers. That's why you see on Shark Tank all the time, what are your sales? Sales are proof of concept. Sales are the fact that you can make up your own opinion, but you can't make up your own facts. Your own opinion is, I think I have something. Sales is, I know I have something.
That's a bar.
That's a bar. That's a whole
That's
bar.
a bar. Right. That really
That's a
is. Wow.
whole bar. The funny thing is, and for a shout out to our video people, the picture that he had of LL Cool J with the Queens jersey, right? I still have a Puerto Rico jersey downstairs, FUBU one. That's like triple XL for no reason. It was the last one that they had in the Bronx, and I was like, I must have it, and I still have it downstairs. I don't know why.
You know what's crazy? My first pair of socially acceptable sneakers, like that I was actually checked off into the cool club, was a pair of FUBU sneakers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to FUBU. FUBU, if you're coming back alive, Isaiah, bring this over here. FUBU, if you're coming back alive, like I've seen it a few times actually. Just send some stuff over our way. We're two Queens kids. You know what I mean? Like we would rock FUBU. I'm just saying, we would rock FUBU.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
I rock the FB hat again. You know what I mean? Just give me the hat. Just give me the hat. The hat was like everything back then. The hat was everything. There was all bootlegged and everything. You didn't know what one was real. I remember these times. But anyways, but of course, I love what he said of we can't go off feelings, right?
Yeah.
We could only go based off what has been sold. And even with our stuff, like we'll try this, we'll try that, right? And it always goes back to, okay, this is working because this made a certain amount. Now, my question, without getting too transparent, because this is the business part, so I'm going to be good, right? Yeah. But what about those times where you have something, it clearly worked for a minute, and then it went down. Right. This is just, we thought, and it's like, no, it's not coming. It's not coming back. It may like even, like we're still in the low, like you still see ground, right? And enough to put the wheels down, but we're not putting the wheels down, but it's even, and then like we stop before it goes. But like, I guess my question is like, from your experience, right? When do you know to put those panels and bring it back to life?
Resuscitate,
Or when do you put the wheels down?
Right. Yeah, I think the one, and this is true life experience here, like legit life.
Did I do good? Like I was like,
no, great.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Always use the plane, people. Use the plane analogy.
Use the plane analogy
to his heart.
Yeah, use the plane analogy. No, but I think speaking from real life experience, if you're hovering. All right, just to kind of play along with that same example. If you're hovering, it's and you want to see which one should I do? Should I find a way to gas it back up or just land? The one question to ask yourself for is there room for innovation? Right? A lot of times something will dwindle from a sales perspective because you were so innovative early on that you brought something to the marketplace that was so rare, so unique that people had no choice but to get excited and buy. So as some of your customers catch up, because in the beginning, I think even Simon Sinek talks about this, the different types of buyers. There are people who will buy before anyone believes it, but there are people who are skeptical until the early adopters buy and they start telling everyone to buy it, and you're just like, okay, damn, I can't even resist no more. I gotta go get that new iPhone. I gotta get, whatever that new thing is.
Yeah.
So at some point, as your customers transition over, guess what? Your competition transitions over too. So your competition now starts picking up on some of the things that you were doing, and they start mimicking them. So it pulls your competitive advantage away. Now you're vulnerable to somebody undercutting you from a price standpoint. You're vulnerable to just people shopping around and saying like, yo, if I get the same thing here, what's the thing that's keeping me loyal outside of just brand loyalty or comfort? Right. So you expose yourself to no longer being that like non-negotiable option for somebody. So what I always find is that you've stopped innovating and you have crashed because you expected that something is going to continue to work for years, and it's rare. It's rare to find a true cash cow product. Apple to use Apple as an example, there's a reason why they still don't have the first generation iPhone, still trying to sell that. They've had iPhone 13. You feel me? Like they've innovated so many times despite of how great their sales were, because they know, guess what? The customers are going to buy, but at some point my competition is going to catch up. So I got to transition over. Now you hover or you bring the wheels down if you see no more, like there's no more vision for it. Like there's no more even space for it in the long term. Right. So between innovation and some level of interest, or that vision for you to even have the energy to continue jumpstarting it, that could be the two deciding factors on either end.
That's so good. I'm not ending it. I just felt like I needed an air horn. I just felt like I needed an air horn. I think, and that goes once again, based off facts, because sometimes, once again, I'm trying not to be too transparent because we're in the business talk. If this was about me, I could go, right?
Context clues.
Yeah. So, the feeling of certain products should be able to still work. Like, I've felt that. Like, yo, this is, it was so successful before, right? It was amazing. We saw the impact. We saw how people were receiving it. Like, this needs to be out to the world. Like, all we have to do is change the messaging, change this, add more things to it. And this is where you have to look at it like, once again, something's got to die in order to truly come up with the next successful plan.
Right.
You have to let it go. And the one way to realize to keep or to let go is the numbers. Right?
Yeah. And
that's not to say that maybe down the line you can't try to revive it. We could get the panels and doof. I mean, we look at, like I said, FUBU. FUBU's
right. I was just about to say, yeah.
Right. FUBU's coming back. When that thing died, Fat Farm started coming back out. What other stuff came back out? There's a lot of things that, like, a lot of retro stuff. The things in right behind me.
I was going to even say Jay-Z. Yeah, facts.
No, all these Jordans.
Yeah, Jordans. Yeah, right. No, you're right. Yeah.
All these Jordans continue to come back, right? And, like, you could bring things back because people, what's that word? Nostalgic? People feel that with certain things. And it actually sells more. Like, I don't know if you ate this, Dunkaroos. Did you used to eat Dunkaroos?
I think you told me about it once, but no.
So it was like this cookie, right? Isaiah, put Dunkaroos up. So it was this cookie with like amazing cream filling, right? Boom. Really dope when I was a kid. I wasn't able to eat them because my mom gave me pretzels. Okay? Yes, I was suffering from great health. But it came back around, what was it, last year, the year before? And them jokers were like $7 or something.
Wow.
Per packet.
Wow.
Like, I'm exaggerating. It was like 4 though. It was definitely 4 compared to like 50 cents, right?
Yeah.
But I bought them. I was like, oh, I remember this. You want to give people memories. Oh my God. I remember how this felt, this was, this experience. So you could bring things back in that case and see if it could live again. But when facts are facts and the sales aren't there, it is now your feelings against facts. Now, when we have a brand new idea, right, we have to put it out in the market. We have to give it to the people. Whether it is from a monetizing standpoint or from my case about content, you got to see what the people want. It's not, we're creating things and it's not really for us.
Right.
But we get so attached to it and we feel like this is it. This is going to change the world. This is amazing. And it's almost a little bit contradicting from what Jay-Z said, but Jay-Z put it out on the streets and he saw the impact that the people had. And he saw what it was doing from 1 person to 2 people to 10 people. And he saw that people were actually rocking with where he created relationships with Biggie, where he created relationships with, I believe, Big Daddy Kane early on, like they were touring with each other. Like he created these relations off of his work. So by putting it out there, he received the feedback to give him facts of this could work, right? Though they may not see it, the general public, not general public, execs, big, high up Caucasian people may not see this. The culture sees it. So let's do this, right? Now, that was feedback. That was literally people giving him facts. There are people that have an idea and it's like, okay, this is going to work, but with what results do you have? Daymond John says sales, right? It doesn't always have to be sales, but proof of how do you have proof of concept? Wallow said it in our interview with him.
Yeah,
he created proof of concept. I did this. I did it for free to bring proof of concept, and when people saw that, now he has an over $1 million deal because of his podcast. Yeah. So we have to put our feelings aside sometimes with business. And that's something me and you have even struggled about because it's like, this just ain't right. We know this works. What are you talking about? Right? But business is business and business goes off of facts.
That's right.
And we can't battle with that too much. And if you want to try to, this ain't for you.
Yeah, no, that's right. I agree with you 100%. That's right.
He said, that's right. So, but do me a favor, people. We're going to have a really great after show. If you haven't been part of the after show, it is clearly what it's called, the after show. All right. Where we go a little bit more into our thoughts and feelings about certain clips we didn't play here or certain strategies and things like that. So it's available on Apple Podcasts. You will see it every Wednesday night about 8:30 p.m., something around there. You'll see a brand new after show. So go check that out. Of course, follow us on all social media platforms at Nikki and Moose, right? And go to nikkiandmoose.com to listen to all the rest of the podcasts. And our live show, Tuesdays, right? 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6, is it? No, 5? 4? 5. Okay, 5. Damn.
5. Yeah, 5.
5 p.m. West Coast time. We do a live show that's on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We're trying to get in on LinkedIn for our LinkedIn people, but those are the places you could find us. And Moose, final words.
Yeah, I'm gonna share a principle from the one we just did a breakdown on. But I was studying for the show, and I heard Damon John said there are 2 ways to learn: mentors or mistakes. There are 2 ways to learn: mentors or mistakes. So if you can afford a long runway to learn from your own mistakes, make the mistakes and learn until you figure it out. Sure, go ahead and take the mistakes. But if you got access to people who've done it, choose the mentors.